Tonight, we go right to the top of Marywood's athletic department. The Season 3 finale of Beyond the Arch starts right now. She obtained her bachelor's degree in health and physical education from Marywood in 1979 and her master's in exercise physiology in 1981 from the University of Maryland. Under her leadership, Marywood Athletics has expanded to include 22 varsity athletic programs. Recently, she oversaw Marywood's transition into a new conference and announced her upcoming retirement after an esteemed tenure at Marywood. I sit down with Dr. Mary Jo Gunning next.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it,
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got, or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, babe.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the eye.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to the Season 3 finale of Beyond the Arch. I am pleased to be joined by Marywood's Director of Athletics and Recreation, Dr. Mary Jo Gunning. Dr. Gunning, thank you so much for being here as always.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, I know how busy you are, so I really appreciate the time you took, but thank you very much. And I always tell everybody we love to wrap up the season with you because you just know how to put the ball on the semester just the right way, because obviously who knows more about our athletic department than you. So,
well, thank you.
Oh, no problem. But last time you were here, I remember we broke the news about the conference change.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously a lot has changed in the interim. So I know I spoke to you a couple months ago, and we said the transition was pretty much complete. So why don't you take our viewers a little bit through that whole process? How did everything go?
Excellent question. Mm-hmm. And anytime there's a change, mm-hmm. there's always some trepidation, mm-hmm. some unknown factors. Mm-hmm. And we still have to get through the full year, our winter sports, our spring sports. Mm-hmm. But I am so proud mm-hmm. that of our 6 fall sports, 3 emerged mm-hmm. as Atlantic East mm-hmm. champions. And that was awesome for us. Mm-hmm. In addition, all 6 of the sports qualified for playoffs. Mm-hmm. We also have 2 Coach of the Year. Mm-hmm. So it's been a very, very positive experience for us. And not just because of the wins, mm-hmm. because of the level of competition, because of the respect of our opponents. Mm-hmm. It's been very good.
Well, that was going to be my next question was, anyone that follows Marywood sports knows this has been a very successful semester, to say the least. You have men's and women's cross country with another sweep, women's soccer emerging victorious, as you said. What were your thoughts, I guess, looking back at the semester and as it was happening, thinking, wow, we're doing so well already?
Let me just not germane to our discussion, but I have had the pleasure of being the cross-country chair for our former conference for about 15 years, and again for this conference. And I have to really applaud our teams. It was the worst experience weather-wise that we've ever had.
I've heard.
We hosted at an area high school. We had no indoor facility. The tent that I had rented blew away. It was very interesting, and I really applaud our competitors too. Let me say this, I'm a realist, but I did not think for a moment that we would not be competitive. I really didn't know if we would win any of our championships, and I certainly had the belief that we could, but what one thinks and what happens can sometimes be in athletics.
Sure.
So it's not unexpected, but on the other hand, it's a real plus. And also, it's an impetus for all the teams to follow.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I mean, what do you attribute that hot start to? Was there one thing that you say, this is why we're succeeding right off the bat?
Our student athletes. We're very competitive. We've gone through quite a bit of change in coaches this year, and our student athletes, they believe in Marywood, they believe in their abilities, they are confident, however, they are also good sportsmen or womanship. They did it all, and they did it under good coaches' leadership.
Is there any pressure, do you think, that goes along with the early success in terms of going forward?
Absolutely. I think athletics is often a world of pressure. And look at society. We're all pressured.
Absolutely.
So, but I would hope that that pressure is somewhat balanced with priorities in life.
Is this success, in a way, validating of the decision?
Absolutely.
Because I know you told me this was,
absolutely,
aside from your retirement, when you told me this was the hardest decision.
Yeah, it was. 25 years ago, I started the other conference. And when I say I started, I'm not trying to take, kudos, but I started it. And I started it because the conference we were in was just not a good competitive mix. It wasn't good for our student athletes' time away. I was a new AD. And so 25 years later, our anniversary, it was hard. It was a hard decision, but I needed to remove myself from that emotion, and I needed to think what is best for Marywood, not today, but in the future. And I think it's really important to be, you don't have to be the big fish in a little pond.
Right.
It's better, I believe, to be a competitive among your peers. And I always want to say, and I really mean it, I'm very thankful to our president, to our cabinet, to our board, that they agreed and they believed in it and allowed me the ability to start it, be a part of another conference, start a new conference.
Well, very nice, and we have much more to talk about with Dr. Gunning right after this. Stick around.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I
And now
don't
we'll
need
all
into
get
a
up and
duffel
dance
bag.
and do a
Yes.
commercial.
That's totally
That's
unhelpful.
right. During the
No
commercial.
problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook. And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tight.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Of all
the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to the show as our conversation with Dr. Mary Jo Gunning continues. All right, Dr. Gunning, we had a nice block last time. We talked all about the conference, so now we know we're fully transitioned to the new conference, and we talked about the successes that we had as a school, so I figured we'd kind of do a little bit of a recap, because it is the end of our season here, about all the successes in the fall, and I think a good place to start would be with men's and women's cross country. We had Katie Shea on the program, who was the Rookie of the Year on the women's side, and then also Mike Kelly was the men's Rookie of the Year, and David Haynes, Runner of the Year. So how much of a plus is it that you have someone like David, who is an experienced runner and running all the, achieving all these goals and receiving all these accolades, then you also have the youth on the team with Rookies of the Year. How important is that balance, do you think?
It's critically important, but the more important thing is the values that David represents and the work ethic, and that sets the pace, not using literally for those to follow. And it's very, very true. And it comes right from the coach on down. The coach was also the Coach of the Year in both sports, but just a person of ethics, person of discipline, and a person of belief.
So a new coach too in cross country. So that must have been very satisfying to know that even with a new coach, I mean, that obviously puts other schools on notice, I think, too, even with a new coach.
And may I say, too, he was named coach, I believe, perhaps a week or two before the season. But I do want to applaud our assistant coach, Kevin Borelli, who has been at the helm and also an assistant, and that was a great continuity.
Is it fair to start thinking about sort of a dynasty of sorts with the cross-country program, do you think?
It's been, particularly our women. Our men, this is now the third win, I believe. The women, I believe, have about 16, 17 wins.
I remember reading that on the website.
But never say dynasty, because you never know what may happen tomorrow. But let me put it this way, we certainly are a force.
I agree. I think everybody else realizes that now, too. But so the other big success in the fall in terms of championships was women's soccer. Obviously, another program that's a strength of the university, to say the least. We know with Coach Smith, that's some consistency there.
Absolutely.
And I think it's fair to say probably that was the one sport maybe that everyone looked to, because that was sort of like the rock in a way, because you had the coach, you had that nice group of experienced people like Julie Youngman. So how satisfying was that to see the championship?
Extremely. But now also keep in mind, with the new conference, as we discussed earlier, there's always challenges.
Oh, absolutely.
And because of the new conference, we do not have an automatic qualifier for NCAA postseason, and we won't for 2 years. So I think that's harder to deal with, that we did not have that. However, I want to say one thing that also to me affirms the fact of one of the facts why we went to a new conference. Our conference institutions, several of them got outside bids. That never happened in the CSAC. So that just goes to show our strength of schedule definitely heightened across the conference. And our former conference was awesome, but
I understand.
This is great.
Do you think that the athletes and the coaches and everyone plays up to the level of competition?
Absolutely.
Is that a big part of it?
Absolutely. I really believe that.
And so getting back to women's soccer, how Do you think they were playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, so to speak? After
Absolutely.
what happened last year?
And that championship game, or that playoff game, without a doubt.
And
without
that was the extra
without
motivation.
A doubt.
Yes,
That's right.
So
that's right.
Now also
because we went into last year fully expecting that we would win.
Right,
and we didn't.
So that just
extra
motivation, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, another sport I'm sure that a lot of people had their eyes on this semester was rugby, because it was our inaugural team. So we were all excited to see what was going to happen there, and I was curious to get your thoughts on how you think.
Well, keep in mind they're a split season, but really their traditional season is more in the spring.
Right.
I have to tell you, my competitive expectations for rugby were not. Competition was not my priority. My priority was to get teams formed, have enough athletes, student athletes, and to have it happen.
Right.
And it happened. And it not only happened, we were very competitive, particularly on the women's side. So, and it's a new world for me too. So it's great.
And we did have a women's player here, Kira Sharkey. So, and we know they're. I saw she was just invited to some sort of a.
Yes, we had a tryout day, and we may have another one for an all-star team. And I want to applaud our coach, Coach Golden. He was asked to be the coach for the all-star team, and she is one.
Well, it's great news.
It's great.
We're off to a great
it's
start.
Wonderful. It's wonderful.
We wrap things up with Dr. Gunning right after this. Don't go anywhere.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you've got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Arch as our conversation with Dr. Gunning wraps up. Okay, Dr. Gunning, we've touched on the highlights of the semester, which there were many of them. We've touched on the conference shift. So now we will talk about some of the coaches who are at Marywood. You hit on it before a little bit. There are plenty of new coaches, lots of new faces here, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's opportunity with new administrations to come in and make their mark. So, but I will ask you this, and I asked you this when I sat down with you for the Woodward. Was it at all a challenge to replace all those coaches at once?
Absolutely. The retention rate of our coaches has been very solid, and for a variety of reasons, this past year we actually I had to replace more than I ever have.
Right.
For, as I said, a variety of reasons. but I do look at any time that we replace someone, and I would hope even with my replacement, it is an opportunity. And you need to look at it as a positive opportunity. And I think right now we have a very solid staff, and I know it's not probably one of your questions, but today I also just hired another full-time administrator who is also a head coach.
Oh, excellent.
So head women's lacrosse academic compliance.
Women's lacrosse was on my agenda, so do we have to wait for an announcement on that?
I think I can announce it.
Okay, well, have at it, please.
I'm very pleased to announce Carrie Brown, and she will be starting, her first official day will be January 2nd or 3rd, I believe the 2nd.
Excellent.
And she comes from she's been at several institutions, so real excited. Players have met her and interviewed her, and they're very pleased.
So while we're on lacrosse topic, also new coach for men's lacrosse.
Absolutely.
So if you want to talk a little bit about him.
Excellent fit for Marywood. John Knowles believes in our core values, knows his sport, very consistent, very ethical, tough coach, but a very fair coach, and the respect from the players and his respect for the players is at a very high level. Very pleased.
Now, one of the more high profile hirings was Gabby Holko.
Correct.
Partially because of who she was replacing, and also because, you know, basketball is always in the spotlight.
And she just won tonight.
Oh, very, very timely. There you go. So, what is your assessment of her so far?
Excellent. Excellent. You know, it's important to note that all of our full-time staff, if you notice, I never address them as full-time coaches because they are not. They are full-time administrators and head coaches. And Gabby is not only knows her sport, first time as a head coach, has extremely well-thought, logical goals, steps to reach goals, but she's also an excellent administrator. She is truly she's truly a worker. And I think really, in my opinion, one of the most important things when I hire someone is, will they be a role model? Will our student athletes look up to them? Will there be mutual respect? And I really believe it. That's my number one thing that I look for, and she fits that mold.
I've seen it firsthand as when I do the games for color commentary there for TVM. She's very vocal and very, very involved in the game, and I think that's an important, especially in a college level, it's a very important thing to have in a coach. She really is a hands-on coach, and that's good to see. So I think we will move ahead now to basketball while we're on the topic here in the whole bigger, broad scheme of things. Now, something unique did happen where we had two 1,000-point scorers in the same game, which is like the odds of that happening are crazy. But Tip Schwartz and Jeremy Ringland, both with 1,000 points within minutes of each other. How was that whole experience for you? What do you think of that?
Awesome. They're two outstanding players, and you know, I may be sounding very similar, but they're also two outstanding young men. And it was just great to see. It was really, that's the first time in our history, and it would be interesting to look even from a nationwide Division III.
I would agree.
It may have never happened before in the same game that close, particularly same years. So it was well deserved. They're both about the last individuals to leave a practice and the first to be there. It's the work ethic.
Absolutely. I was talking to Coach, and he said, you know, he didn't know if they were going to get it at home or not, and wow, did it ever work out, though, and within minutes of each other.
Yeah, it was great.
Don't blink or you'll miss it. But so now to wrap
do you think they're under a little bit of competition among themselves?
I think they might be motivating themselves a little bit.
I think it might be.
I don't know.
I think it might be.
You never know. But I think they definitely, like we said, competition, you play up to it.
Absolutely.
You live up to it. You got to live up to it. Now, so to wrap things up here, I think it's very appropriate. You did recently announce your retirement. So
I did.
Well, first of all, allow me to congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You've had like I said, in the open and esteemed tenure here, so you will be missed.
Thank you.
But
thank you.
Why is this the right time, I guess is the right way to ask.
I can answer that relatively quickly because it's not an easy decision for me. 4 basic reasons. The first is I really think in Marywood's history, I was able to guide into a new conference. I was able to start sports. I mean, there was sports, there was 4, but we've really expanded intramurals, recreation. And I think now that the new conference is going well, the roots are there. I think it's time in Marywood's history. I said earlier, every time someone leaves or there's a change, it's a time for opportunity. And I think it's a plus for Marywood. I think for me, as one gets older, I can only be in this position if I can give everything of me. And I'm not the type to change the way I am.
Right.
And I like to be at everything, and I'd like to try to, it's been my life. And I think as you get older, that sometimes is a little physically harder. Third reason, real quickly, my husband's retired. And that's been a push.
Absolutely.
And the 4th is, I have so many adventures ahead. I have so many things I want to learn how to do, new things. And I've never, it's never been secondhand because Marywood's my passion, my belief. I love Marywood, but it's okay now to have maybe just a little bit of a life change. However, the good or the bad news is Marywood's always going to be, I'm always going to be with Marywood, but
good news,
not in
for
this
sure.
role and not overseeing people by any means.
I can tell you
So.
that's good news for sure.
Oh,
But
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
And thank you
Thanks.
very much for coming on the show, Dr.
Oh.
Gunning. And I'm going to wrap up Season 3 of Beyond the Arch right after this, so don't go anywhere.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook. And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tight.
Check your steps. The road chip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
I'd like to thank Dr. Gunning for coming on the show tonight, and thank all of you for watching Beyond the Arch all season long. Make sure to look for our return with Season 4 in the spring semester. With tonight being our season finale, I would like to thank the entire Beyond the Arch crew for all of their outstanding work and effort all season long. It is because of them that this show is a success. I am truly grateful for each and every one of them, and I can say that I love my Beyond the Arch family. Until next time, be sure to head over to TV-Marywood's official YouTube page to watch full episodes of the show. Make sure to follow TV-Marywood on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Until next season, always remember to look past the jersey and beyond the arch. From everyone at TV-Marywood, have a great night and a happy holidays.